Hi, I'm Colin from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is the handover video of the Trail Imala 730, which is a 2016 model. So as we start, we'll walk around on the driver's side of the vehicle first. The first point you get to is your mains connectivity point, where you hook the vehicle up with mains when you arrive on your site. So you'd lift the collar, slide the hooker blade on there so it connects to the motorhome, and then when unhooking you would press the blue clip down in the left hand corner and pull the hooker blade out. Always hook the motorhome first, then the site, and obviously do it in reverse when you are unhooking the vehicle, as we wouldn't want you walking around with the live lead in your hands. And underneath this is your grey waste pipe, so it holds the grey waste, so anything you've put down a plug hole goes into a holding tank. And then on the on the way out of the site, you'd turn the toggle on the side and let your wastewater out. It's very important in the winter as well, when you're not using the vehicle, that this one point is drained down, so one of 3 points. So this needs to be drained in the winter to stop it freezing in the tank. You've got your fridge vents. If you're on a super site, you can connect to their TV aerial through here, so you will just need some coax wire. And then here, same as your wastewater, but this is blue, which indicates it's fresh. So if you're winterizing the vehicle, if you're not using the vehicle, or you've taken on contaminated water, to stop the water from going stagnant and freezing in the winter, you'd let it out. So you drive over a grid and let your fresh water out, or you can just let it out on your drive or in your storage yard. You've got your boiler flue there, so just make sure that's always obstruction free. And then at the back you've got your high level brake light, your bullet style reverse camera, and you've got your under storage of your bed, so you've got your carpets in there. But in here you do see this yellow toggle, so your boiler's behind here. It holds 10 litres of water in the water container. In the winter months you don't want that 10 litres of water to freeze, because it'll bust the boiler and it's not covered under warranty and it's very expensive to replace. So what you'd do is you'd leave that to stand up, and you'll see 10 litres of water come out of the chassis. Leave that up during the time you've got it in storage, then open all the taps throughout the motorhome, remove the shower head from the shower hose and allow the shower hose to lie in the shower tray. And what that'll do is it'll stop any water from freezing in the shower pipe, and all the taps to be open to stop any airlocks. And then when you come to reuse it, you treat your waste, you treat your fresh tap outside, you treat your boiler, you put your hose pipe in, which I'll show you in a minute how to do, fill with water, go in, put the 12 volt control panel on, turn the pump on, go to the cold side of the tap first. You'll get automatic cold water because it's feeding from the main freshwater tank underneath the chassis. Go to the hot side, it'll cough, splutter, spit, and all it's doing is it's drawing the air out of the 10 litre boiler, filling it from the fresh tank into the hot water container in the boiler until you get a steady pressurized flow on one tap. Do them all and then your system is primed for the season. To shut these locks, what you do is you've got a little notch there, so turn the notch down to the floor, put your key in, do half a turn and then simply just push it in. And it's the same with all the other locks. LPG, so we've got 2 gas bottles on at the moment for test. This is just showing that you carry a spare and you can fit 2 6 kilograms in there. You'll want a gas spanner or an adjustable wrench. It's a left hand thread, so opposite with it being gas. Hand tighten and then nip up with a spanner. Turn on and off at the top of the bottle. Obviously turn it off when you travel, turn on when you arrive on site, and then you press this green button down for 3 seconds to allow the gas through the crash valve, and press this one on the regulator 3 seconds to allow the gas into the vehicle. Always make sure it's turned off when travelling and the bottles are strapped in like they are now. Next to it you've got your fresh water. So again, this key here, it's a lockable cap, so you can lock it if you wish. Push in, so when it's spinning like that, it is locked. Turn it, push it in, and it'll come out. You need to get yourself a hose pipe with some hose pipe connections, as it's mainly just a brass tap on most sites. Put your hose in there, wait until it overflows, you've got a full tank. Don't be alarmed if water starts pooling out the bottom of the van. If you filled it and it's overflown out the side of the van, all it's doing is it's getting rid of that extra water that it can't hold in the tank by letting it go in, and it'll just pool out underneath on the overflow pipe, which is just by your wheel here. Or you can fill it until you've got enough water in your freshwater tank, which you can see on the control panel. Coming further down, you've got your cassette loo, so your bathroom's behind here, and this is your toilet where everything ends up in. Make sure that the blade is closed on the bottom bowl of the toilet, which is the grey lever, and you'll be able to lift and slide it out. You've got a handle there, so you can drag it to your waste disposal site, which is normally behind or beside your showering block, toilet block. And then what you would do is you would remove the spray cap, which exposes the spout. Press the button here, tip it out. Once you've tipped it out, put some water in, put the cap back on, give it a rinse just to get that last bit out. Tip out again. Then if you're using the liquid foam, 120 ml of liquid goes into here and it goes into there, if either the blue or the green. Or if you're using the tablet foam, you put the cassette in completely dry, open the blade, press the flush, and flush into here about a pint's worth of water. Then what you want to do is you want to put a tablet, which is in the cellophane, down through the toilet into here, so that's either the blue or the green. Ask your site which liquids and tablets they prefer you to use, if you're using the liquid or the tablet. Most sites will probably want you to use the green, as it's more environmentally friendly now for their septic tanks for disposing your waste, than the blue. But ask when you book in your site and they'll tell you which liquid you have to use. Here you have your external shower point. So you've got a bullfinch connection, and on the other end of the hose you've got a trigger gun. Make sure the pump's on, and it can go from hot to cold. Hot, you must have had the hot water boiler on. That 10 litres of hot water is not going to be hot all the time unless it's turned on, and that's great for showering the dogs, the kids, the bikes, or the shoes if you've been on the beach. In the door here you do have a electric step which goes in and out. That will retract when the engine is started. And you'll also notice next to it you've got a 12 volt kill switch, so you've got to turn this on for the 12 volt to work in the motorhome. So you can take the key out, put the key in, have it off in the winter to stop any power drain, but you must have it on for all your 12 volt appliances to work, including your step. Fly screen, blackout blind on the door, and then to lock the door manually from inside, what you would do is you just shut the door and push this chrome catch in, so it goes like so, and then as soon as you go for the handle it will open. Here at the passenger door you've got your lockable diesel cap, which opens with the main ignition key. Tyre pressures here, so 5 bar on the front, which is 72.3 psi, 5.5 bar on the back, which is 79.5 psi. You've got your toolkit underneath the seat, which is a jack and a brace and a tone eye. Engine batteries underneath the cab floor, and bonnet releases here. Underneath the bonnet you've got all your fluids to the left hand side, which is underneath the driver's side. So you've got your screen wash, this lifts off and fills your power steering fluid and your radiator coolant, and then you do have your brake fluid reservoir, engine oil filler, and your dipsticks for checking your level. Your paint code on this silver plate, which is 691 for the Ferrero. Earth for giving or receiving a jump start, and then just behind the passenger headlight, if you lift this cover here, you've got your positive for giving or receiving a jump start. You also go off this weight plate now, so it's 3.5 ton gross vehicle weight. If you were to put a tow bar on and wanting to tow with this vehicle, your train weight can't exceed 4,750 kilograms, and then you've got your front and back axle weights. So once inside the vehicle, above the habitation door, you have your main 12-volt control panel. So if you're hooked up, you will have 240 volt. If you're not hooked up, then you will just have power off the leisure battery, which is 12 volt. Which then only your 12 volt appliances in the van will work, and your 3-pin sockets won't unless you're hooked up. So you've got your master switch here in the top left hand corner, which turns the vehicle on and off. And you always want to be running off this battery here, which is battery L, which stands for your leisure battery. If you click that, you can view your levels. The battery next to it is your vehicle battery. You can switch over to this in an emergencies, but you don't want the motorhome to be running off the vehicle battery, as there is a chance that it could flatten it, and then you will not be driving away. You'll have to have recovery. So always make sure it's on the leisure battery. And then below in the bottom left hand corner, you've got your pump, so you can turn this on should you have sufficient water in the tank and your boiler shut, and this will pressurize your water. Otherwise you'll just get whatever's in the pipework until it trickles out. But don't put the pump on if there is no water in the tanks, because it will burn the pump out. And then to view your water levels, one to the right next to the pump, it'll show you how much water is in the tank. On this side you've got your heating and hot water panel truma. So there's various videos on this, so you press and hold to turn on and off. This is telling you what it's set to, but if you press to go in the menu, you can then see what is what. So at the top left hand corner, you've got a motorhome with a thermometer flashing. This is the temperature of the vehicle. So at the max you can have it at 30 degrees, or you can turn it all the way to off should you not want heating on. So for this we'll just say 30 degrees, and then you would press the black button in the middle of the screen to save that. Moving along, you've got your water. So again, if you've got no hot water in the boiler, don't put this on, as it's like putting a kettle on without any water in. You're going to burn the element. So you've got off, you've got eco, which is 40 degrees of heating your water, hot, which is 60 degrees of heating your water, and boost, which will turn off your heating. Prioritize your water first. So for this we'll just say hot at 60 degrees of heating your hot water, which is only 10 litres, remember. And then you've got which source you want. So you've got gas on its own if you're wild camping and you weren't hooked up, parked in a field or on a CL or wild camping. You've got a mixture of 1 kilowatt of electric and gas, a mixture of 2 kilowatts of electric and gas. So this is both sources at the higher output together. So if you're really desperate for hot water or heating in the winter months, you'd use this mix too when on a site. So you've got to be hooked up and you've got to have your gas open, as this is both sources together. And what that'll do is it'll boost the time it takes to heat the water or the vehicle, and then you would turn that off after about 20 minutes and put it back onto electric. So you've got EL1, which is electric on 1 kilowatt, or you've got EL2, which is electric on 2 kilowatts. So just depending on what your site gives you, current wise through your hookup and ampage, you can switch between electric on 1 and electric on 2. If you are using a mains kettle or you're running the microwave at the same time, you may have to turn it down to electric on 1 if you've got it on electric on 2, just in case it trips the vehicle. So for this we'll just say electric on 2. And then in the top right hand corner you've got your fan, so you can have it on eco or high. Eco takes a smaller feed of 12 volt. Obviously high, you can hear the fans running as they're quite loud, or a little bit louder than eco. So if you're wanting to sleep with the heating on, put it on to eco and it'll not disturb you. Going to the bottom, you've got a timer, so you can time the heating to come on and off once. You've got the displayed time on the panel when it's on standby. And then should you get a warning triangle in the middle, you can go to reset, click on reset, it'll come up preset, click again and it will reset this control panel. You'll have to go in and set the temperature, the water, the energy source, the fan speed, all again. And then to turn off, you just press and hold until it comes up with off, and it'll go through its cycle of turning off. In the kitchen area, so you've got your Dometic style fridge. So this is a 3-way fridge, so it's got 3 energy sources that could potentially run off. So you've got your on off button here, which you just press and hold, and then you can see there you've got mains electric that looks like the hookup plug, which is on 240 volts. So if you're on a site, you'd use this, or if you're lucky enough to keep this at home and you were pre-chilling this before you go away, so a few days before, you'd probably want to hook it up, charge the motorhome batteries, put the fridge on, allow it to cool, and then put your shopping in the day before, allow that to cool overnight. On mains, you've got gas, which self-ignites, which you use if you are wild camping and you weren't at a site, so you didn't have a 240 hookup point. And then you've got the battery here, which if I turn it on, it'll fail because the engine's not running. And this is a feed from the engine alternator, and it turns the fridge into a big cool box once it's been pre-chilled. So it's got to be pre-chilled beforehand. You can't just expect to put shopping in and drive an hour and it to be cold. It's got to be chilled beforehand on either electric or gas. And then to this side you do have your temperature. So when pre-chilling, you probably want it on 5, and then once you get your shopping on board, you probably want it on 3 or 4 max, otherwise it can freeze your shopping. And then when winterizing the vehicle, you'll want to winterize the fridge, which is take everything out, clean it out, and then pull this little lever forward, which the door will then not shut properly, and it'll allow air circulation around the fridge door so that mold and bacteria don't grow in your fridge. You also have this store away socket in the kitchen, so you can turn it on and off from the bottom. And obviously these are 3-pin plugs, so they'll only work when you are on mains hookup. Turn it off, push the clip in and push it down, and then just pull it up when you need to use it for your kettle and your toaster. Pushing the catches behind the doors releases the overhead lockers, and you've got your cups, bowls and plate rack. Main plug for the microwave, so if you've ever got it isolated or replace it, you can just unplug it and slide it through there. And again, it's a household microwave, so it works on mains power, and it's an 800 watt microwave, so you'd press eco to wake the microwave up. And then you do have your gas hobs, so you've got 3 of those, 1 electric hot plate which indicates by the red light when hooked up. This will work, so just make sure that once you've had any gas appliance or electric hot plate on, you allow them to cool before you put the glass hood down, otherwise there is a chance that you can shatter this. And then below you've got your grill, and you've got your oven. So you may want to wrap your oven shelf and grill pan up when travelling, or take them out and put them elsewhere, as they can rattle when on the road. And if you click this panel in, you've got your gas taps, your red gas taps. Any problems with gas, turn the bottles off to be safe. These are mainly for when the vehicle is serviced. And you've got your 2 plugs. One's for the oven hot plate and one's for the fridge. Pushing these catches in releases the doors, and you've got storage in there, and then 1 cutlery drawer and 1 storage drawer. Division curtain here, so you just Put that and it just clips on there. So should you have people in the back and people at the front, you can put the privacy curtain across. In the washroom, so to operate your Thetford toilet, you press the blue button at the back, which is your freshwater flush. So make sure the pump's on, press and hold the blue button. The fan will kick in first, which is just a 12 volt assisted fan. Press it and it'll go to a solid light. That means the fan's off. When it's flashing, it's on. Press and hold and you'll be able to get your flush. So always flush the toilet first, which lubricates the seal and the blade, and then open the blade. You'd use the grey lever, so you'd slide it to the right. So flush first, use the toilet with the blade open, flush after use, and then slide to the left to isolate. And then when you get a couple of green lights underneath the cassette, it shows that it's full. But always make sure that the blade is shut to get it out. If you were struggling to get it out and you wondered why, it's probably because you've left the blade in the open position. Your light switch is just underneath your toiletry cabinet, and you've got toiletry space. Your skylight, you press the button in, pull the bar back, or put it into the grooves to have a nice bit of ventilation. Always make sure all your skylights and windows are shut before you travel off, and the bar has to be above the button. And you do have a blackout blind and a fly screen for when the skylight is open. It just shows your fresh water pumps working and your water is getting nice and warm there. Got a handy hanging rail there for wet towels, but also works for wet coats if you're being caught out in the rain, or if you're going on a longer trip and you just simply haven't got enough space in your wardrobe. You can use this as a second wardrobe if you're not going to use the shower when travelling. And then you do have your turnbuckle here for your shower screens. They just come across, but always make sure they're securely tied back before you travel. And like I was saying, if you remove your shower head from your hose and allow your hose to lie in your shower tray with the shower tap open, it'll stop any water that's in the pipes behind the shower, and also any water that's in this pipe here from freezing. To operate the TV in the back, which you can turn around into the front should you wish, you can turn on and off, point it to the infrared in the bottom right hand corner, and then every time you move site you will have to retune the telly by going to menu, channel, auto tune, press enter, and you want to search for DTV channels. If you struggle to get a signal, you can go to source and go right the way down to the bottom to DVD, and there's a DVD in this side here. It's a 12 volt TV, so you don't have to be hooked up to work this. You've just got to have enough in your leisure battery. Turn it off, and then that just stores away like so. So turn it back round, and then you just push it up. So it's got to be turned this way, and then just push it and pull it back down. If you're struggling to get a TV signal, what you can do in the back wardrobe, as it's a fixed aerial and it's not directional, you can go up and down here to boost and weaken the signal should it be too strong or too weak, and that's both for the front and the back TV. You've also got your freestanding table in there and a hanging rail in your wardrobe. At the back of the vehicle you've got your island bed, so you can use the handle and you can pull it down, or you can push it up into the day position so you get a bit more room to walk around the bed. Wardrobe that side, storage above, shelving unit this side, lights, and then the individual readers are individually switched. Underneath your lounge seat behind the passenger seat, sorry, you do have your leisure battery underneath here. So you've got a leisure battery in there, and then at the top you've got a 20 amp battery fuse. That's an inline fuse, and some storage in there. And then at the other side, you've just got some storage in there. See, that's just for your heating ducts, and that is where your mains connectivity comes into the vehicle. To make the bed, all you need to do is slide them forward, meet them in the middle, and then all you need to do is put your backrests upside down into the middle, and then I would turn the base cushions upside down, and there you have your front bed. To work your drop down Avtex TV in the cab, so what you need to do is release it. If you're struggling to release it, pull the catch back and it will drop down. Turn the master switch on at the top. You can't just leave this on all the time and then just turn the main control panel off, and it'll stop the 12 volt feed of the telly. Press to the light and turn on. And then again, you'll want to retune this telly every time you move sight, and to do so you just press and hold AQT down. So just press and hold. It'll ask you what country you're in, press OK, and it'll start to do an auto search. Failing that, you can press source, and there is a DVD slot in the left hand side of the TV. In the cupboard behind the driver's seat above the lounge, you do have your EC155 unit, which is your power supply unit from Sargent. So you've got all your trips on this side, so your MCBs and your RCD on mains power. And then this side you've got all your 12 volt fuses which are listed, so it would be a good idea to carry some spare blade fuses with you. Solar panel, so it's charging your leisure battery. And what you can do is you can pop it between the leisure off and the vehicle battery, but it's probably best that you just leave it on the leisure battery. And then you do have on here your build number, so if you ever need parts for the vehicle, quote that number. We'll be able to pop it into the Auto Trail part system and find the correct parts for you. So it's basically like a chassis number of the motorhome side, not the cab, so we can find the correct parts for your vehicle. So now in the cab, to the right of the driver, you do have your handbrake, and then on the door you've got your electric windows for passenger and driver, and your electric mirror adjustments. So you've got two adjustments on each side, so you've got the top and the blind spot. And then to blacken out on an evening the passenger and driver's window, you just pinch and slide, as you've got Remus car blinds fitted, and you can do the same on the windscreen, and they just click together on a magnetic strip. So if it's going to be a windy night, I'd put something round there just to keep them shut in case they did open. Coming down to this side, you've got your headlight adjustment and your rear fogs, and then you've got your trip computer on the end of your wiper stalk, which goes through the screen in the middle, which will tell you instant average consumption, your range, so how much fuel's left in your tank, how many miles you've travelled, how long it's taken you, and you've got trip A and B. Lights and indicators, and at the bottom you've got off, you've got cruise control, get your desired speed and push up to speed up, or push down to slow down. You can cancel with the brake or cancel on here, and then you can resume on there as well. So if you've got someone cuts you up and you've got to slam on the brakes, you can then press and it'll resume it to the last speed set. And then going down at the bottom you've got speed limiter, so if you go up slowly it goes up in ones, if you press and hold it goes up in fives, and then you still do have the kick down function. So say you've got it set to 50 mile an hour, you can put the accelerator at the floor as a safety feature, and it will overrule the 50 mile an hour limit just to get you out of any situations you may be caught out in. The steering wheel controls, and then as this is a Comfortmatic automatic gearbox, you've got neutral at the top, so always you can park it in either neutral or you can leave it in gear and put the handbrake up. It will beep at you just to remind you that you've got to put into neutral, but you can park them in gear as well, it doesn't really matter. But you've got neutral at the top, all the way down to reverse. Which will then bring on your reverse camera on the monitor, or you can go along to revert to manual. So when it says auto 1, it's in automatic and it'll automatically change gear. Press again, it'll go to 1, which is manual, which then you go up and down the gears. But you can still go into auto and change gear. So should you think it's struggling, or should you think the revs are too high, you can go up and down and intervene, and it will drop a gear or go up a gear. Traction control, hill descent control, hazards, locks the cab doors. You have to manually lock the habitation door by pressing that chrome catch. Heated mirrors, 12 volt and USB for charging. This vehicle, so the last customer on this vehicle's fitted heated seats. So you've got heated seats buttons here, so you've got heated pads in the seat, so you can have it on 2, you can have it on 1, just depending on how cold you are and how hot you want the seat to be, on both passenger and driver, which is not a standard Auto Trail feature. On the outside you've got your fan's temperature, and on the inside you've got your fan speed. Must be on at least 1 or more for the aircon to work. And then you do have your distribution, so face, feet or screen on the outside, and whether you're bringing fresh air in or recirculating air. And then you've got your radio system, which is FM, AM and DAB, and you press 1 to 6 to save your favourite channels. You can scroll through them from here. Go to media, which is either USB or auxiliary input from here. Phone, you can connect your phone via Bluetooth, so phone, connect phone, add phone. You want to find Uconnect and make sure your pins match. Press pair on your device, then it'll ask you if you want to sync your contacts. Press allow, and your phone book will be downloaded into here, so you can go to contacts and you can scroll through your phone book and ring who you want. Then you've got a glove box here and a glove box there, which is heated and cooled by the air conditioning. Individual lights here, we're off the leisure side, and then you've got your cab lights as well. So as this vehicle is fitted with EP hydraulic leveling system, what you've got to do to level the vehicle off, obviously using your remote, first of all put your ignition on. Don't start the engine, just put your ignition on, because it takes a 12 volt feed from the engine side. Then turn your remote on, and then to auto level it, just press this button here in the bottom left, auto level, and it'll run through its system of leveling the vehicle. So as you can see, you've got jacks on the front which are coming down, so it'll level the front off first, and then the back ones will follow, which are just behind the back wheels, to get the motorhome nice and level where you are, so you're not on a slight incline. And then on the remote, so it'll just adjust itself, so it'll put both legs down and then start adjusting on the front, and it'll go to green when it's level. If you wanted to do it manually, you can just press the hand and then you can adjust each one, and then to bring them down you would just press this one here and it'll retract them, which is just like this, and you'll see the van start dropping, and it'll bring the rams back in so you're safe to drive off your site.